Well, you don't want to talk about Afghanistan?
No, because I don't know anything about it.
Really?
They're a wreck over there. They're always been a wreck in the Middle East.
Yeah, probably because we're fucking shitty. But
we are shitty, and you know what? Yeah, you know what? We do want to. I do want to talk about it, but not probably for the purposes that you want me to talk about it. I would bring up the fact that it's the argument that I've been saying my entire fucking existence ever since I've been even slightly keen into what's happening politically in this country. And I know you've heard me say this hundreds of thousands of times, and I think it fits into this scenario as well. The US of A needs to get our own shit together before we start going out and helping all these other countries, because these motherfucking countries don't step in when we need help. You know what I mean? And I argue this. Imagine, I'm not saying that we shouldn't help other countries. Imagine how much better our help would be if our shit was together. We are basically a limp noodle going out trying to stand up in another arena, another country. We're broken ourselves, and all we're doing is just going over to other countries and breaking them because we're broken. We got our own shit to deal with. I say this about politics. I say this about these TV preachers. I say this about any organization that is US based, raising money for other countries. We need to fix our own shit first before we go out and try to fix other people's shit. That's my opinion on just not Afghanistan, on the whole shebang, every other country.
I agree to an extent. Like, you know, I think I don't think it's bad to, like, if another country is like doing bad, like, you know, if some church wants to, you know, build wells and
okay, so that church wants to go over to Africa and build a well. And you know what they're doing to go build that well? They're driving by the homeless people that are living out behind their church to go build a well 10,000 miles away.
I understand what you're saying, but like I do also believe that yeah, I believe in America, but the whole America first thing, I agree to it, like, to an extent, but like ultimately we're all still humans. So like,
yeah, but Jake,
support who you can where you can. Like,
we gotta be America first temporarily. I'm not saying like, forever.
Me helping, like, I don't know. Yeah, my whole thing with that whole, like, why can't I go to South America and do something? I don't know. Like, if there's an earthquake in fucking, I don't know, some country, it doesn't matter. I don't know why I can't help there and help here as well. But like the homelessness thing and all that stuff, that's like systemic issues that, like, the only way I can really help with that is legislation and my votes. You know, like, homelessness in this country has way more to do with our systems than anything. And I could still donate to homeless shelters and do the other thing. So like, I don't know. I think that whole argument is bunk. But like, when it comes to Afghanistan, like, I think it's a bit more complicated. I think, yeah, we probably should have gotten out of there a long time ago. I think everyone who's like surprised by what's happening, I don't know why you'd be surprised by this happening. I guess we're all a little surprised that, like, the Taliban took over so quickly. Even Biden was like, oh yeah, it's going to take them like a few months to take over, but they will take over. And then they did it in 2 days. But like, yeah, we probably needed to get out a while ago. But in fairness, like, we caused a lot of the issues there. So like, it's not even really about like helping out another country. It's about helping out a country with the problems that we created. But at the same time, we're not helping over there, really. Like, we're just kind of prolonging the inevitable by staying over there. I think the way we pulled out was totally was totally not well thought out at all. The fact that we pulled out and then had to send people in to get more people out, It's like, dude, we should have planned this out a while ago to get as many refugees as we could out of there, especially the people that have been helping us for 20 plus years. You know, these people are basically like part of our army, you know, like they've been helping us for 20 plus years. Like, and then we just left them out to dry. And a lot of that has to do with the peace treaty that Trump signed last year with the Taliban. And we were supposed to be out of there by May. So there is a lot of that it was just sort of rushed. Like, we have to get out of there. We had a transition of power, and the transition happened, and Biden was probably like, well, we can stay there and prolong this war even longer, and more of our troops are going to die, or we can look at this treaty, stick to it, leave as quickly as possible, and a lot of civilians are going to die over there. It's kind of a lose-lose situation, but like, you know, I do think we had to get out. So I don't know. It's not as simple as just saying like we shouldn't help people, like, especially when we've caused a lot of the problems to begin with.
Well, why did we cause those problems? Because we're a broken country. Everywhere we go, we cause melee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because there's gas and oil. I mean, the excuse that Osama was over there, but like, we killed Osama 10 years ago, so.
Right. And the reason why we go over and we cause these problems is because we don't have our shit together. Dude, the infighting in our own country is at the same level as these third world countries are today. Why? Because we won't fix our own selves before we go out and try to help or aid in other areas of the world. And I'm not saying that it has to be US first only. I'm just saying we need to take some time to clean up our own front yard before we go over and try to sweep up someone else's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in this country we need to fix first. And that would probably avoid us getting involved in chaotic situations like Afghanistan. Afghanistan is just one example of shit that the U.S. has gotten involved in. And here we are left with the dirty diaper because it was shit to begin with. We had no clue what we were doing when we went over there to, you know, because we're chasing something. What? We want to become the power country. We want to be the number one leader. We want to be world leader. We are broken, bro. We are broken, and we can't try to go and fix someone else's situation or even help out in some other country's situation until we can get our own shit together. And we can't get our shit together, and this is why situations like this happen. We're broken, and we're just doing nothing but spreading our brokenness.
Yeah, but humans are always imperfect, and like, you know, I think the issue is that we created a lot of the mess. We didn't create the Taliban per se, but like we gave them weapons, and we've basically been training them for the past 20 years because they've been fighting us for the past 20 years. So they've been fighting the best military in the world for the past 20 years. And then we're like, okay, here you go, Afghan government, do your best. And they're like, you want us to fight someone that you couldn't beat? And we're like, yeah, see you later. Bye.
And we showed our hand. It seems like the Taliban took over in 2 days. No, they've had months. Soon as Trump signed that treaty, they're like, oh, May? Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, let's start gearing up now. Let's start game planning now. Yeah. We showed our fucking hand. So it seems like it took 2 days, but it actually just took them 2 days to execute their plan that they have most likely been doing for working on for the last year to half a year, because we showed our hand. You know what I mean? So they knew what was coming, and they were ready. And they executed, and they moved on. I'm not saying it's a good situation, because it's not. It's not a good situation at all over there. No. But damn, I won't ever move past the fact that our country has a lot of work that we need to do on ourselves first, you know, before we start getting into any type
and you say, but like the problem I have with what you're saying. And I agree we should get out of there. I just think we botched the way we got out of there. But like, the problem with what you're saying is before we go in there, We were already in there. Like
I'm saying before we go anywhere.
Right. But we were already in there. So
right.
like, yeah.
And we should have fixed ourselves before
years.
We should have fixed ourselves. Yeah, this problem that we've got in this country, we're not just broken in the last few years. No, this is a problem that this country's been broken for a long time. Yeah. A long time. Some would even equate it all the way back to World War II.
Yeah. I think you're like deviating from the actual conflict, but I get it.
I mean, I'm not deviating from Afghanistan. I'm lumping them into the whole picture is the approach that I'm looking at.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's like we send relief to Japan, right? And because they had that big tsunami and earthquake like 10 years ago. And it's like, why are we getting in there? We shouldn't help them. We've got so many issues over here. It's just a little weird. But anyway.
It's the way that I feel about it. We are fucked up. And everywhere we go and everything we touch, we're going to end up fucking it up even more.
I agree with that, but we already got in there. And we should have at least saved the people that had been fighting alongside our guys.
And if we were a little better in this country, there would have been adults sitting at the table that probably would have brought that up, where the exit would have been executed better. But I'm pretty sure that the adults that probably would have been able to speak up about that were probably dealing with another stupid ass situation within this country or another country, and they were distracted from it.
But that never ends.
We pulled out of countries before better than this.
Yeah.
You know, we I'm not going to say that we haven't. We have. But we botched this one. And we botched it big time.
We've just like got such a huge grudge against the Taliban, you know, which understandably, you know, like to an extent, but I don't know. It's a hard subject because it's like, you know, you hate to see people getting fucked up over there, and a lot of it is our fault, but it's like, what do we do? You know, what do we do? 70% of Americans wanted us to leave Afghanistan, right? Then now we're out, and a lot of us are like, well, shit, we wanted out of there, but we didn't want to like fuck everyone up over there. But that was just sort of inevitable, because like we really wanted them to form their own like sort of democracy and shit, and it's like they're just never gonna form a democracy with us watching over them, like, because we're just being totalitarian over there. So it's a shitty situation, and there's no like good way to look at it.
No one wins. Yeah. You know, and that's the sad part. No one. There's no winner in this scenario. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking that those people are over there suffering. And, you know, they were looking to the big US of A to come in and assist or direct, and nothing. And I think that is in part because the US of A itself is hurting. America, she's a crying. She's a weeping.
Yeah, it feels weird, champ, just to speak like the Zoomers, to be like, this country is literally being taken over by terrorists, and then to be like, well, America's hurting. It just feels like a weird statement to have, but...
All right, well, you clearly don't see all of my point, but that's fine. We're two different people, and we can agree to disagree on parts or whatever it is. But
well, it sounds like we agree. It's just semantics. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, we screwed up. We screwed up Afghanistan, and I think that it's a systemic, most likely from a systemic issue of the fact that the USA doesn't have their shit together. All of our shit together. We have our shit together on some things, but not all of our shit together. And I wish that it was, you know, we were in a better position when we go in and we do things like this.
The upsetting thing is, like, the one thing we thought we had our shit together on was our military, because we spend like billions every year on it, and apparently not.
Nope.
We've spent trillions on this fucking war for nothing. And I've heard a lot of, military personnel talk about it. Like, shit, man. I watched my best friend die there. For what?
Yeah.
Nothing changed. We were there for 20 years. Thousands and thousands of troops and civilians died. American troops, Afghani troops,
Yep.
Everyone. And it's just like, for what? Nothing changed. Now they're taking over, and it's worse than it ever was for them over there now.
Sacrificing.
And it would have been.
Oh, go ahead.
And it's almost like we couldn't admit that we were wrong, so we stayed in there way, way too long when we could have backed out, 10 years ago and been like, shit, we fucked up. We couldn't really finish the mission as we had planned. But then we were in there for another 10 years, and it's even worse. So it's just kind of a shitty situation.
I mean, the war started when I was 60 years old, and the war started before you were even born. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, 2001, right? Like, I was in first grade, like my whole life we've been at war. So this is going to be a new experience for me.
You were in your first trimester. You weren't in first grade.
I was in first grade. I think I was in second grade, come to think of it. But
actually, I think that I was 50, not 60.
Yeah. Anyway, should we start the show 20 minutes in?
5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That's Cory. What's up, Cory?
What is up, Jake?
Not much. I've been playing this game called 12 Minutes, and I was, at the beginning of the show, I was debating on whether we talk about it or not. But you know what? We're going to turn this into a quick little spoiler thing at the beginning. So
I'll say it for you.
Are you down for that?
Yeah, I'll say it for you. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you want to get spoiled on 12 Minutes. We don't normally talk about video games on this show, but it seemed like something you were interested in, and also something you'll never play. So I thought I'd break it down for you because it was kind of interesting.
It actually, it wouldn't, you're right, it wouldn't be something that I would play. But I watched you because you streamed it. I was watching you, and it was a little interesting because it was what I classify as a situational game where you can sway the situation in the game according to how you respond. So you get like different options on what to do. So I actually stuck with you through, I want to say maybe about, 5 or 6 of the 12-minute segments that you had where, and I don't want to get too far ahead of what you're going to say, but I stuck with it because it was intriguing. The design of the game is intriguing to me alone. And you showed me before you played it, the trailer to the game. And you mentioned William Dafoe, I believe, is one of the voices in the game.
Willem Dafoe, yeah. Yeah.
And so it was actually, I would never play it. Yes, you are correct. However, it was interesting on how it was going because it was suspenseful. So I will give it that. That's why I'm actually interested in your spoiler that you're about to give out.
So it's got some Hitchcock sort of elements to it, especially when you look at the poster, that's straight up a Hitchcock poster, and an all-star cast. It's got Daisy Ridley, who played Rey in Star Wars. It's got James McAvoy, who was in Split and a ton of other things. He was Professor X. And of course Willem Dafoe. Yeah, British Shameless, I guess. And then of course Willem Dafoe, who was he's been in everything. I mean, the dude's a madman. He's amazing in everything he's in. But basically, yeah, it's a 12-minute time loop, top-down perspective, basically a point-and-click adventure game. You get into your house, your wife is there, you're hanging out with your wife, and as the time loop progresses, a cop comes to the door, breaks through the door, says, "I'm here for the murder of your father 8 years ago," and then kills me, the protagonist, James McAvoy. And then it repeats, and that repeats every 12 minutes. So you have to like fuck around with the apartment, and the apartment is a bedroom, a bathroom, and a living room, right? So there's different things you play around with. You play with the grate. At one point, you have to. Yeah, you have to give your wife sleeping pills, so then she falls asleep on the bed. Then you hide in the closet, and then the cop comes in, turns on a switch, it electrocutes him, and then you have to tie him up and get answers from him. And then, the story starts to progress. And as the story progresses, you come to find out that after telling your girlfriend or your wife that you're in a time loop, and you also find out that she's pregnant. Once she finds out you're in a time loop, she's like, "Oh God, I think I killed my father 8 years ago. I think I shot him and then I ran away." But then the cop says, "No, he died on New Year's, and when she ran away was on Christmas. So she obviously didn't kill him."
Before you, not to interrupt you, but before you get to the spoiler on how you beat it, can you give me a chance to guess how you beat it?
Okay, go ahead.
No, before you do?
Well, I'm just going to give out the spoilers. So what do you think?
I think the way that you beat it, after watching you play a handful of rounds, I noticed that there was one thing, and I don't know if you did this or not, so I'm just guessing. I'm thinking that one element of the game where you change the outcome is by actually letting the cop in and not allowing him to bust through the door. That's my guess.
Well,
and I think that
because instinctively, your wife goes and answers the door, so it doesn't matter. He's going to come in and grab you and arrest you.
Oh, okay.
The way you change that outcome, because there is a way to change that outcome for him to like come in and she'll talk to you, is you find out his daughter is sick, and the real reason he's breaking in is because he was friends with your dad. And he knows that she has a very expensive watch of his. And he wants that watch, and he doesn't give a fuck if he kills the daughter because he knows that she killed him. So he's going to take the watch, sell it, and, for his daughter's cancer treatment. So you find the daughter's phone number, you call the daughter, and you kind of explain to her, like, "Hey, tell your dad to, like, chill the fuck out." So she calls him, and then he comes in, and you explain the situation. And
I would have thought that maybe if you let the cop in, you don't give the sleeping pill to the wife, you let the cop in, and you give him the coffee with the sleeping pill. And then your wife confesses everything, and she admits that she killed her dad, and you tell her to kill the cop, and you leave.
No,
that's
not it.
Damn it.
So at one point, so you can do that, and you get the interaction with him and the daughter, and you figure out what's going on with the cop. All right. So that's kind of the cop's story and why he's breaking in and why that's happening. And then the loop still restarts, and your guy is like, "What the hell? I thought I figured it out. She didn't kill him. It was," and then you find out it was her brother. Because you find out she has a half brother that was born because of the nanny. Okay, because her father had an affair with the nanny, and the brother killed him. So
the dad was stooping the nanny, Fran Drescher.
The dad was stooping the nanny, but you don't know the brother. You don't really know the nanny, like she doesn't either. She just knows they exist. So then when he died, the cop says he kept muttering "monster," and I don't know why he said that. And the sister goes, that's what he called my half brother, was the monster, because he was an accidental baby. So then you find out the brother killed your father, okay? And the loop continues to restart. And you're like, what the fuck? Well, we solved it. The brother killed. So
you don't have to die for the loop to start over in the game?
If you hit 12 minutes, the loop just restarts. Doesn't matter. Even if you're mid-conversation, if it hits 12 minutes, it restarts. If you leave the room, it restarts. If you die, it restarts. You know? So
yeah, because that's
no
why
matter
you
what,
die
it's
a lot.
restarted.
The cop choked you out several times.
Yeah. But if the cop's on the ground and you just shoot him and you walk around the apartment for a bit, it'll just restart. So literally, it's 12 minutes.
So you have to
then,
figure it out.
Yeah, so then you start asking about the nanny. You're like, who's the nanny? You get the cop back on the ground, and you're like, hey, who the fuck is the nanny? And you ask him, what was her name? And he's like, some sort of flower, I don't really remember. And you notice the present, which was a baby clothes, has the word Dahlia on it. And he goes, Dahlia? And he's like, yeah, that's the nanny's name. And the protagonist, who you play as, goes, fuck, that's my mom's name. And then he goes, fuck, I'm her brother. I'm my wife's brother. And I blanked this all out of my memory. I killed her dad. And then it shoots you back 8 years. And now you're in this like bookcase room with her dad. And the dad is like...
So the brother, so the half brother and the half sister, you're the half brother?
Yes.
And you married your half sister?
Yes.
Oh, there's some fucked up shit here. I got a question though.
And she's pregnant. Yeah.
And you put I was about to say something really bad. Question though. When the 12 minutes hit in the game, does the game allow you to remember everything that happened in the previous 12 minutes? So you're aware that every 12 minutes the day starts over?
Yeah, like I'm aware.
Well, you are as a player, but does the game...
But the character?
Allow you...
The guy knows, but everyone else doesn't.
Everyone else thinks
knows.
it's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, the main guy knows, but no one else does.
Yeah,
so you
like
have
Groundhog
to repeat.
Day.
And that is one of the biggest issues with this game is you have to repeat scenarios over and over and over again, like things you've already done to get different dialogue options, and it's really annoying and really tedious. But then you do that, you find out
you're her brother, you're her half brother, and you married her after killing her father.
Yeah, and you freak out for a bit. And then you go look at the watch, the pocket watch, and every time you look at the pocket watch, it brings you back to the 8 years ago. So you can replay that scenario. And then if you replay the scenario and the dad goes, listen, I'll let you decide. And the dad is played by Willem Dafoe as well. But like the dad is like, listen, I know you've been seeing my daughter. She's your sister. Stop seeing her. And if you say, yeah, I'll stop seeing her, never to see her again, you re-enter through the elevator, you go through the door, the apartment's empty, roll credits, and that's the fucking game.
Okay. I'm a little down with that because I didn't see that twist coming. Now I think it could have been maybe different, where it wasn't just a memory block. But how did you realize that you were married to your sister? What was the scenario that led up to that knowledge?
It was the fact that you learn about the nanny, and then you ask what the nanny's name was to the cop who was friends with her dad. And the cop says, I don't remember. And then you ask, was it Dahlia? And he goes, yes. And then you go, that's my mom's name. Fuck. And then you remember.
Okay. What does the cop's daughter have to do with anything? Does she play anything, or was that just a distraction to send you down a rabbit hole?
It's just like, why is the cop breaking in and trying to steal this watch? And it's because he knows about the watch. He knows that that's a very expensive watch because he was friends with her dad. and he doesn't mind stealing the watch from her for the money because he knows that she killed her dad, and that's why he's doing that.
At the end of the game, everybody's alive except for the dad.
No, if you tell the dad, yeah, I won't see her ever again, he gives you a hug, and then you leave, and yeah.
So
and then if you go into the bathroom,
so no one's dead.
No one's dead, and the game just kind of ends with that. But you can also go in the bathroom and look at the pocket watch again, the empty bathroom, and you can look at the pocket watch, and then you can fuck up the timeline again, and just so you could try out different scenarios, because there's a bunch of different kind of scenarios that play out. One of the scenarios, and it's kind of fucked up if you don't, because like I got this ending before I got the official ending where you find out you're her brother. But like one of the endings is, because there's different endings to the game, but the main ending is basically, you say, no, I'm not going to get with my sister. But one of the endings, which I got before I found out that she was my sister, was you call the daughter. He says, oh shit. And like you call the daughter, and then the daughter calls the cop. The cop just bounces and leaves. And then you just sort of play out the day as it would have. And you like dance with your wife, and then you go like spoon your wife on the bed, and then the 12 minutes snaps up and you wake up and you're like, shit, I fucked up. And yeah
you fucked up because you just spooned your sister, bro.
Yeah,
I did not realize that this was going to come down to incest.
Yeah, I didn't either, and it's a really weird decision that they made. I'm honestly shocked that they went there. I'm not sure I even like that twist.
I will definitively say I don't like that twist. What was your reaction when that happened?
I just went, what the I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Were you streaming when you hit that? When you figured it out?
I was not. I decided to
end the stream
because I started playing on my own.
I would have totally gone back and watched your reaction when you figured that out.
I was in shock, dude. Like my mouth was just like a gasp. Like I was shit. I was shocking. I don't know if I like this game per se. I don't know if it's great. The whole reason I'm like spoiling it on this show is because I think what's more interesting is just hearing the story. And because the game itself is just like really tedious. It's fun at first, like clicking around trying to find all the different things. Like it was fun when I was like, oh, there's these sleeping pills here, let me try giving them to my wife and see what happens there. Let's see, there's a phone in her purse in the closet, let's fuck around with the purse, let's call 911. If you call 911, they say it's going to take 15 minutes to get there, so that's not enough time because the time loop ends in 12. So
so it's based
kind of
in reality.
Yeah, so it's fun at first, like trying all these different things, but then it becomes not fun when it's like, okay, I know I need to give her the sleeping pills. I know I need to flip on and off that light. So then when he comes in and then I need to hide in the closet, then he can fall on the ground. And I need to do that like 20 times because there's like 6 different dialogue trees and scenarios that can happen just from doing that set of events. And then there's a bunch of different things that can happen by revealing to her that I'm in a time loop, and I have to do that a bunch of times. And so it just becomes really tedious redoing these things over and over.
I saw
and
you
over
even
again.
kill yourself once on the light switch.
Oh, I didn't kill myself. You just pass out for a minute and then you get back up. But if your wife goes over and flips on the switch and gets shocked by it, she does die because she's not wearing shoes.
Now, what in the room does she refer to that needs to be fixed? Is that ever revealed?
The light switch.
It's the light switch that she's referring to?
Yeah.
Because there's some dialogue that she says, honey, this needs to be fixed. Someone's going to hurt themselves.
Yeah, it's the light switch.
And I heard her saying that while you were getting sleeping pills out of the bathroom and getting ready to put it in her coffee. And I'm like, fuck whatever's in the room. You're about to go night-night.
Yeah, because you can hear her turn on the switch and it goes, psh, and the first time it just does like a little shock, and then if you turn the light off and it gets turned on again, that's when you get electrocuted and pass out.
Well, how come it passes you out, but it kills? Oh no, it passes the cop out too, because you have the cop passes out, then you have to zip tie his hands,
and then you can talk to him. Yeah,
he's an
and you steal his
too.
phone. You steal his phone, and that's how you get his daughter's phone number. And stuff.
I didn't think he was a real cop because I don't know many cops. You know, well, I didn't think so because he choked you out on the floor a couple of times.
Right. No, because he's just there to steal the watch.
He throws your wife on the ground a couple of times.
Well, he's there to steal the watch and kill her because she killed her dad, or he thinks that she killed her dad.
But in actuality, it was you because you were dicking down your sister.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, that's disturbing. Who are the creators of this game? Do you even know? Are they any big names? It's not Rockstar, clearly. Is there a big creator behind this, or is this just some weird dude with pimples and glasses sitting in his mother's basement?
I don't know the studio. Let me look that up. But the publisher of the game is Annapurna. And Annapurna makes all sorts of really good indie games. They have a game called What Remains of Edith Finch, which is like it's like a 2-hour game, and it's so fucking good. It has one of the most memorable moments in this game called What Remains of Edith Finch. Just real quickly, it's about going through your family and finding out how all your family members died, and there's like a curse on your family that all your family members die. And one of them is you play as your like psychotic brother who works in this like fish factory, and he cuts the heads off fish, and that's his whole job. So, but he also has a fantasy world in his head, and then you play as this guy, and he's grabbing a fish, cutting the head off, but at the same time with one stick you're grabbing a fish, cutting it off, and with the other stick you're walking around as this king through this castle and stuff, and then it ends with him cutting his head off. It's one of the best moments I've ever experienced in a video game. Everyone should go play that game. I might even censor that out because that is such a great moment in the game. But yeah, Annapurna does really good stuff. I don't know who the developer is though. Let's see.
Someone that clearly has an affinity for their half sisters, because art imitates life, in my opinion. But I could be wrong.
Well, and did you ever hear that story of these? They were like two kids that were adopted, and then they got married and stuff, and then they did a DNA test and found out they were siblings, but they didn't know because they were adopted, and then they found out they were siblings. I'm sure they like read that story somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we can make something weird out of that," because that is a very strange.
I mean, the reason why I was intrigued with this game while you looked that up is because of the situational thing, which is what intrigued me to play Stardew Valley so many months ago, is that you can direct the game by selecting one thing or another. You know what I mean? And like you said, there's like 7 different scenarios or responses that pop up on the screen, and those are going to lead you down a different rabbit hole within the game. That was the same thing with Stardew Valley. And when I would explain Stardew Valley to so many people, they would be like, this is a video game, not a movie, you know, because you decided what would happen and what wouldn't happen in the game. So that's what drove me to it. And then when I saw you playing it, just the presentation of it was something I've never been exposed to that as a non-video gamer. That perspective, you know, that kind of like that fly on the wall type of perspective where you're just up there in Spideyverse looking down upon this apartment, you know what I mean? And I thought it was well done as far as production goes, but that's what intrigued me about the game overall.
Well, and that's what's so great about Annapurna as a publishing company. They only do indie games like this, and they only do weird shit. Like, they don't make Call of Duty, you know? They make weird shit. And I think that's where video games really thrive, in my opinion. It's what keeps my love of video games alive, is weird shit like that. Because I'm like, this is something you can't do in a movie. You know? This is something you can't do on a television show, you know? It's the interactive thing. Like, it's such its own thing. Where like Call of Duty, it's just like shooting a bunch of dudes, and it's like I can watch a war movie or whatever. But it's so unique to video games. You're telling stories that can literally only be told in video games. Apparently, the developer of this game, though, it was developed by one dude. I'm sure he had a team behind him, though. But it was developed by this guy named Luis Antonio. And funny enough, he's a former artist who used to work at Rockstar Games. So
there you go.
It's funny you say that.
It's always just one dude. Like Among Us, what is that? A team of three
like
developers,
dudes.
4 dudes that developed this game that took over the world for quite some time. I mean, yeah, you've got what is it? Grand Theft Auto that's been around for 8 years. And probably has a team of hundreds and hundreds of developers and design artists. And then you got the developers that buy the game and put them on their own servers, and then they can do a whole nother thing. Like, they just opened up a paintball gun arena on the No Pixel server. I don't think that's ever been a part of Grand Theft Auto. If you walk in a store, GameStop, and buy it, you're not going to have a paintball arena with 15,000 people in the seats. But it's really interesting that it was just, one little dude that dreamt up this game. And I thought it was beautifully
famously Stardew was made by one guy,
Yeah, that's true. I was going to get to that as well. Stardew is one feller. And I might have the Star Dude. I'm not on his Christmas list because he turned me down for an interview on my show. But he's pretty difficult to actually get, believe it or not.
Yeah. I reached out to him on Twitter, and he didn't. But yeah, that makes sense. The dude's a multimillionaire now, which is insane. That guy
for one game.
He spent I think he said he spent 8 years of his life just toying around in his garage, just making this game, and it went through several iterations. He did all the music, he did everything, and he just fucked with it for 8 years while working another job, I believe. And then he launched it. People gravitated to it. There's no studio, there's no publisher on top of him taking any of the money. So all that money, it goes straight to him. The dude's a multimillionaire now.
He got my $5.
The same thing could be said about Minecraft, right? Minecraft was made by that guy Mojang or whatever, who was one dude. He just fucking made Minecraft. And of course now there's a whole team behind Minecraft. But when it first came out, it was that dude. That dude made several billion, with a B, capital B. He made several $1 billion when Xbox bought it from him.
Is there a capital B on that, Jake? A capital B?
Capital B, dude. Yeah. Fucking Xbox bought it from him, I think, for $2 billion. So
is that why these individual developers, is that what their end game is, that they develop a game like this that they hope that a big publisher would pick up and buy from them? Is that what their hopes are?
I would probably assume that most of them are just I like making games. If it makes $1 billion, fuck yeah. But I'm sure most of them are just I want to make this game because this is a game I would play. That's what you hear most of them say. The guy who made Stardew, he often says, I just made a game that I would want to play. And so I made
Beautifully done. I'm a fan. It's interesting. I'm glad that the game ended that way and that you were able to figure it out. I thought it would have taken you more than one night to do it.
I beat it in about 5 hours.
In about 5 hours, I mean, that's chill. It was different. It was a different game. I personally have never seen a game like that, but I'm not into video games that much. Even though I'm starting to get the itch to get another one. I'm starting to get
Another
the
video
itch.
game?
Yeah, I'm starting to get the itch because I bitched about Twitch last show and I'm kind of punching out on it. You know what I mean? I have probably 2 active subscriptions to people that are playing GTA 5 right now. And I'm thinking, okay, if I punch out on this, what am I going to do? I'm like, yeah, I can go back to my coloring books. But
you know what I love doing though? I still watch Twitch and I'll play video games as I'm watching Twitch, you know?
well, yeah, that's what I do too. I'm normally doing something else while I'm watching Twitch. And this is what it got to. It's got to the point where Twitch has become background noise to my day.
Yeah.
I will put it on my
like
Apple TV. Yeah, I will put it on other than, Faggot Radio Show, but I would put it on my Apple TV and just let it go. And that's bad to me because I'm like, that means that the role play isn't engaging enough for me to stop. The storylines have completely come to nothing. There's nothing in the storylines. It's literally, the role players are literally signing into this game, and for a 12-hour stream, they're cooking meth and then selling it, and then that's it. 713 Stu at least has some level of dialogue where he still does, some dialogue with some of the other role players, but other than that, they're not doing anything. And then I can't stand it when they can't fucking stay still.
How do you keep it interesting for so long though? Like most TV shows, when they hit that 5th season, it's rough. And these guys are hitting what's the equivalent of a 5th season of a TV show in a week. If they're streaming 12 hours a day, they've hit that shit already.
Well, I'm not a streamer, so take my response to it for what, with a grain of salt. But in my mind's eye, I would say that if I feel that my role play in a certain situation where I'm starting to notice that I'm doing the same exact thing over and over in the game, I would expand my reach. Now, my follow within GTA No Pixel has been more with the Vagos game, within the Vagos gang within the game. If I was a role player in GTA 5 as a Vago player, and I've burnt out my role play wheels on all of the characters that are there, I would probably try to expand beyond the Vagos other characters and maybe try to recruit more people into the Vagos game. Maybe try to start a role play scenario with, someone else. There are some other high powered individuals in that. Or if it's really that bad and it's so dried out, create a new character and start over from the beginning and start a whole new role play chain. You can create multiple characters on the No Pixel server. So, I think that because what's happening is that I feel like the streamers that I was watching that are in the No Pixel server are just now doing nothing but the same shit over and over in the game and getting in fights with chat. That's it. That's all that's happening. And I'm sorry, I find that absolutely annoying when a streamer that I'm paying for a subscription to watch, I'm supporting you, is yelling at me. I don't want that. I don't want that. Now, I know that there are some freaking trolls in the stream, but those trolls are putting food on the table for your kid. Let them fucking troll as long as their subscription stays alive. Why play into them? That annoys me.
I have a theory. Because I've noticed this trend, right? This is a huge trend on Twitch. Everyone loves to yell at their chat, right? Like, this is a huge trend. And all the big streamers, they all yell at their chat. Like, that's their thing.
Not all of them.
But like a lot of them, right? Like the big ones, like XQC yells at his chat.
Oh, God,
Hassan yells at his chat. Like, this is what these dudes do. They mauled at their chat constantly. And I have a theory. They yell at the chat because this gets chat interaction. It also acknowledges, hey, he's reading the chat. And then the people who see the yelling in the chat are like, oh, how do I convince him I'm not one of these people? They send in a donation, so he reads their donation, and he's like, so then they think, like, hey, I'm one of the good ones. I feel like it's all just an elaborate ploy to get more donos, more subs. I think it's all part of the game, dude. And to me, it's getting really lame just as like an average viewer, because it's like I'm more of a lurker, you know. I'm more of just like I sit back and watch. I don't really participate in any sort of chat because I ain't got time for that. And
I participate in chat to a certain extent. I'll log in every once in a while, like when I was supporting Benny streams. I would log in. I would go into chat. I get the hype train going by, hyping up chat. Let's get these subs up. Who wants a gifted sub? And somebody mentioned, it's my birthday, and I'll go in and do happy birthday. But that's not typical. My typical stream watching is literally just that, stream watching. And and that's what I do so much that even with the streamers that have their chat up on their screen and they've got all these freaking overlays all over their screen, you can't even see the damn game. That annoys me too, because I'm more of a lurker at most times. But I will go in, and if like right now, 713 Stu, if Stu does something that's absolutely funny and amazing, I'm dropping him some bits. I'm not dropping him bits to get the shout out, but it ends up in me getting the shout out. But those are what I do when I see him do something good. And then when I used to subscribe to Lithium and there was a troll in his chat and they would say something to him, that's the only thing he would respond to. He doesn't respond to anybody that's just a sub for a month. He responds to you if you drop 50 gifted subs. He responds to you if you troll, if you call him out on something. And I'm like, what about the people that are just in here, giving you emojis, cheering you on? I know you can't call them all out, but you don't call out any of them. You only give the trolls the fucking spotlight. And then the funny thing is that most of his trolls that he gets into a 45-minute rant about, he eventually goes over to whatever Twitch thing he has. He looks them up and they're not even a subscriber. And then he molds at everybody. And this pisses me off too. He molds at everybody in chat. And then his mods puts chat in emote only mode. So now you can't even type words to him. Now you can just type emotes. And then what do the emotes end up being? Nothing but hearts. From all the people trying to get him to get out, to take them out of emote mode because of one idiot he decided to spotlight for 45 fucking minutes. When he could have easily just ignored that idiot and continued on, or thanked somebody for their 1 month or their 2 month sub.
It sounds like a good ploy to get people to subscribe to you, because then you call this guy out, you're fucking with this troll, which there's always trolls in there. You fuck with this troll, easy content, easy to make fun of a troll, and then you could say, look, he's not even subscribed, you guys should subscribe. And then you put it in emote only mode, and what do you get for subscribing? Emotes. So then he's like, look, you can participate more in the chat with emote only mode if you get my emotes. It's all part of
punishing everybody.
It's all part of the.
It's
I know. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like it all sounds like part of the game, which is so lame, because I don't participate in chat unless I'm like joining into like one of my friends' chats or whatever, and I'll like talk to my friends.
I barely participate in your chat.
That's true. I didn't even know you were there yesterday watching.
I was lurking, dreaming, hoping, wishing.
Yeah, but most of the time I don't even participate in chat, so I just want to watch someone, like, either if I'm watching a political streamer like Hassan, I just want to watch what his commentary is on whatever political thing, or his React Lord shit or whatever, or Vosh, same thing, or if I'm watching like Sips, I just want to watch him play a video game, and Sips is great because he barely interacts with chat, and he just plays the game, and that is way more enjoyable to me than watching some fucking 35-year-old man have a tantrum about his chat.
And then most likely those trolls that are in the chat are 15-year-olds that are using their parents' credit card. I will give a shout out to one guy that I am subscribed to, and I've been subscribed to him for quite some time, and I never bring him up because he runs his stream perfectly. He runs his stream he ignores the trolls. He still interacts with his chat. and he has real to real face conversations with his chat, and he's dreamy as fuck. Jelly Peanut on Twitch, whose real name is David, interacts with his chat in the middle of gameplay. He will even stop his gameplay, like if his game is like reloading or whatever, he'll stop his gameplay, go full screen face cam, and talk to his chat. And I mean, he talks to his chat so much, people in his chat he like knows, and he'll ask them about things that they mentioned in the chat from 4 or 5 days ago or last week or whatever. And Jelly Peanut, I never have ever heard him go after a troll or get pissed off at his chat. And I met him when I started streaming Among Us. That's how long I've been subscribed to Jelly Peanut, because I just like his gameplay. He has an amazing personality. He interacts with this chat. I've never, ever once chatted him. Never once. But I've been subscribed to him. And the only time he's ever said my Twitch handle is at the time when I subscribed last year. That's it. And he does it the way that I feel is acceptable. It's never chat's fault. Lithium, it's always chat's fault. XQC, that dude just got a freaking nut loose. That guy's a maniac. Oh, he's kicked off a NoPixel again. I mean, he's just a freaking, there's another one, Wimpy. He's a fucking maniac. Not only is he a maniac in game, he's a maniac out of game. It's just ridiculous, man. I'm paying you money. I'm giving you money. I'm supporting your art. Don't fucking lump me in and I got to sit back and listen to 30 to 45 minutes of you going after this one fucking streamer that says something that wasn't even really relevant. And you gave them 45 minutes of your fucking time?
Well, if you want a perfect Twitch experience, someone who interacts with their chat just famously.
Ham plug.
And you want to watch just like high octane gameplay. No. You want to watch podcast, a good diverse amount of content. Go check out twitch.tv/lonercast, where I'm there streaming all the time, playing video games. I'm going to be playing some Ghost of Tsushima tomorrow. Or, just go follow me. Also, check out the YouTube channel. Check that out too. And check out Cory, Fat Guy Radio Show.
Nah, don't. We got enough. We're good.
Oh, okay. Don't support him. Support me. I need your money.
1.5 million. I'm good.
That's the end of the show. That's
5, 6, 7, 8.